Hi, happy Monday. A lot of you on Twitter may have seen this photo the other day. It's a tweet that says, "The boys in Brooklyn could only hope for this level of drip." And it has a photo of Pope Francis in what seems to be some sort of Balenciaga puffer jacket. But what a lot of people seem to have not known, including myself, when seeing it, is that this image of Pope Francis is AI. It's not real. And today I want to talk about this photo. I want to talk about the Trump AI photos and what we're looking at in the future when it comes to AI generated photos. But before we do that, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below what stories you'd want me to cover in the future. This channel, I'm going to be doing a lot more of a focus towards current events and news and shit, while the main channel is going to be for the fun stuff. Let's move on. So I originally saw this photo and I thought it was real. You could call me dumb, but I didn't think about it. I saw it and I moved on. But when I was on Twitter the other day, I saw that Hank Green quote tweeted this. And he said, "If you saw this image yesterday, did you know it was generated by Midjourney?" And very surprisingly, 48.1% of people who voted on the poll said they thought it was real. Now, this post had a lot of people talking about it because a lot of people were really surprised that people fell for it. You know, you can see some weird blurring here when it comes to his ear or the reflection of his glasses, or even if you scroll down, the way the cross necklace looks, even this little thing he's holding, this little bag. For example, this tweet right here says, "I think to get through the AI era, you need to really lean into your common sense. Is the Pope usually dressed like Fat Joe? No." And a lot of people agreed with this tweet here. You know, there were a lot of people that were skeptical that so many people could actually fall for something that's so obviously fake, because you look at all of these parts of it and yeah, okay, I can see how it's AI. Yeah. But just like this person said, I thought it was real because it didn't stand out enough for me to properly look at it. I just thought, wow, nice coat, Popey, and moved on. And that's kind of where I was at. I looked at the photo, I thought, wow, that's cool, and then I moved on, and I never thought about it again until this tweet came up. But what is the effect going to be of people being able to generate any photo they want, and then if they put it out online, most people on Twitter aren't there to be like detectives. Like this person right here who said, "Sigh, I don't want to have to zoom in and inspect signs for potential AI generated photos." Most normal people who are online every day see pictures and news from celebrities and they don't really stop and say, "Hold on, let me make sure that's real. You know, that can't be real." Because we live in a world where like weird shit happens every day. Just in the past few days, Elon has been like changing the rules of Twitter to be this insane social media site where only people who pay $7 a month are like seen as real people, while at the same time using his voice on the site to promote tweets about school shootings having a link with trans people. That's the world we live in. So if I see a Pope in a Balenciaga jacket, I don't care if it's real or not in reality. I think it's a funny photo, but I don't care. So I'm not going to go and inspect and look at that. But is that something we should fear? The idea that most normal people aren't even going to take a second look at something that's AI generated, and in just a few months, the photos are photorealistic and can copy faces of like very famous people. I made a video months ago about how DALL-E 2 was like taking over and how cool it was. Little did I know, a few months ahead, we were going to have photos that looked 10 times as realistic. Very quickly, we went from images like this with the prompt, "The Pope in a Balenciaga puffer jacket." And of course, let's compare that with this. Inspired by this tweet, people even posted their own versions of Pope Francis AI. And the fact that these photos can literally look like this is something that we should all be a little bit concerned about, just a little bit. And just to be clear, today I want to talk more about the dangers of AI when it comes to trying to spread news that isn't real or spread information about people that isn't real. Obviously, there's a whole nother conversation around the art aspect of it and the AI learning from already existing pieces of art and stealing from artists, which is another entirely different issue that AI has that really needs to be addressed. And it's kind of hard for AI to move forward in the art world without having to actively take advantage of artists who are making human-made art. But that's a whole different conversation. Today we are going to talk about the Pope. This got so popular on Twitter, this conversation around this Pope Francis photo that this journalist I really like named Ryan Broderick tweeted out. I think Balenciaga Pope might be the first real mass level AI misinformation case. Kind of cool to watch. The first misinformation case where literally half of the people who even viewed it, probably even more, assumed that photo to be true. And although that photo itself, like the idea of the Pope wearing a Balenciaga jacket, that doesn't have any effect on his job or the world or really anything in general. But of course, as many people would already assume, it is just taking us down a road to worse things that actually do have consequences. Ryan tweets out, now that everyone has been duped by the Pope in a coat, it's a good time to acknowledge that there's no way our government can regulate AI fast enough for it to matter. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Images won't ever feel real again. And here's the snippet from his blog. It may seem silly, but this probably counts as the first real AI-generated hoax, which means you're going to hear a lot of alarmist stuff about AI misinformation from pundits and tech critics this week. And well, I hope everyone has a nice time and enjoys that little exercise in futility, because I think we're way past the point of no return with this. There's probably a lot more coming and not a ton we can do about it. I dare you to watch even 1 minute from the TikTok hearing last week and then ask yourself if you really think the American government is capable of regulating any kind of this technology within a time frame where it would actually matter. So we're kind of on our own as always. And he's absolutely right about that. The fact that our government, the only people who can truly put regulations on something like this, can't even correctly question a CEO of a massive social media application with a lot of problems. They can't even do that right. So how are we supposed to expect these dinosaurs to know at all how we can begin to regulate something as powerful as image producing photorealistic AI? Finally, in response to this tweet, Ryan says, my theory as to why it's fooling so many, myself initially included, is that the Pope aesthetically exists in the same uncanny valley as most AI art. The new Pope guy, whatever you call him, especially like as some people are explaining, talking about what the Pope is wearing and the accessories and all that stuff is like a regular thing, the aesthetics of that job. Remember when he was in that big box? Yeah, like, look at this. This is cool. This looks like something that would be AI. Like, why does he need to be there in the box? And again, the explanation as to why people like me fell for this photo kind of boils down to what this tweet says that I found that doesn't have any likes. I found it in the middle of the Twitter search. A lot of people fell for the Pope AI, but I think it boils down to nobody really cares what the Pope is wearing to check. Feels like a majority of folks are going to at least be skeptical if it's something worth checking into, like the Donald Trump arrest AI pictures. And let's look at the Trump photo. There was a big tweet and a lot of different tweets, but here's one from the Debate Society of Berkeley. Dumb. AI is getting out of hand. Y'all got me all excited for nothing. Hashtag Trump arrest. This tweet has 38.8 thousand likes, 4.5 million views, and you've probably seen some of these pictures floating around this week during the possible Trump indictment, but none of these photos are real, of course. And this just happened a few days before the Pope picture. Of course, a lot more people didn't believe it because, one, it's a crazier scenario. Two, it's more obvious when you start looking at the photo because you're going to be looking at a photo like this longer than you're going to be looking at a photo of the Pope in a Balenciaga coat. Obviously, with this photo, it doesn't make sense that the cops chasing after him would just be like all looking straight ahead. And you can see that the AI correctly assesses what most of the New York police officers look like, which is all 5 of these guys. And BuzzFeed News decided to talk to the guy who created the image. Pablo Xavier, a 31-year-old construction worker from the Chicago area who declined to share his last name over fears that he could be attacked for creating the image, said that he was tripping on shrooms last week when he came up with the idea for it. He generated the first 3 images around 2 p.m. local time last Friday. He first took up using Midjourney after one of his brothers died in November. It pretty much all started with that, just dealing with grief and making images of my past brother. I fell in love with it after that. Oh my gosh, that is like depressing. That's a really depressing backstory for the guy who created the Pope Balenciaga image. And I also thought this was funny. People are all like, oh, this AI stuff is getting sinister. It's scary how realistic AI images are getting. But the moment someone uses AI to throw the Pope in a white puffer coat, everyone starts clapping and honking like a bunch of seals. Another tweet here says, people keep saying that people will adapt to AI like we did to other tech revolutions, but the scale and speed of progress in AI will dwarf anything we've ever experienced before. The technology will have impact far faster than our ability to adapt our societies. A lot of people had replies like, the governments are going to regulate AI the same way they do with banks, nuclear energy, etc. And yeah, sure, we can take efforts to regulate stuff like we always have in the past, but this time we are not the ones creating the thing that needs to be regulated. It is moving at a speed that is faster than humans can actually keep up with. The question over all of this kind of becomes, do we adapt with AI as it moves towards this era of like hyper-realistic misinformation, or do we do something to regulate it and stop it from becoming a massive part of the way that we consume news and media? Just the other day, I was notified of a new AI machine that can do video to video generation. So I can take a video of my face and it can generate 3 seconds of it in different styles of art, like claymation or paper origami, or this one that looks like cotton candy. The fact that it's moving this fast and this many things have happened in the past year should be something that should be at the top of our minds. And I don't know. A lot of it is fun, of course. I have a good time going through it and seeing what people are creating, what AI can really be capable of. But you can't help but worry about where all of it is heading, because once you get to a certain point of no return, we don't know what's being passed off is real or fake. I have no solutions. I don't think our government can regulate it fast enough. What do you think? Let me know. And also remember, you can email me at nickisnotgreenmerch@gmail.com if you want to tell me stories or different topics that you want me to cover. Make sure you check me out on all the social media. Nick is not green on everything. You can always message me there, and sometimes I respond. My DMs are open, so come say hi. And I think that's it. Have a great day, and be safe.